gold medal for innovations in ENT at the South ENT Conference in the year 2001. Sir is also well experienced in writing many national and international journals. We are honored to have you as our guest speaker today, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. We are blessed and delighted to have the presence of such an eminent personality for this event. We are pleased that your inputs will help us lead a healthy life ahead. I now welcome Dr. Devan to take over. I inform all the volunteers to leave their questions in the chat box after our guest speaker, Dr. Devan, has addressed the gathering.
Am I audible, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, my grateful indebtedness for calling me for this august occasion and to permit me to share my thoughts. Well, you know, the title is Fitness, and there's a sea change in the outlook the world over. I will encompass the contemporary thoughts and then let the mic on or the speaker for you to interact with me. I will start by recollecting an anecdotal incident. We doctors were having a conference, and then in the middle they announced that a cross-country cyclist, a girl, was passing by, and then she's taking a break and then would like to address the audience. Well, she was slim and trim and fit, and she walked in and she said, you should all put, we are all doctors, and should all put some effort in exercising and trimming, because look at me, and I cross country cycle and an enormous amount of effort and all that. She was going on and sort of belittling us for our obese status. Well, beyond a point, doctors, you know, they are like that. Well, at some point, I felt I had to interject. And I said, ma'am, may I make a comment? She was a little difficult to handle because she was so self-righteous. And I said, I will say only one sentence. And that is, the tortoise lives for 100 years. Where are we talking about exercise and jogging and this and that? And the tortoise, happily, slowly, quietly, it lives on. Slowly it walks. It lives for 100 years, which means our concept of fitness, a concept of health, and concept of all that is completely wrong. Why do I say that? Because you know the IT industry is huge, powerful, and rich, and therefore is very keen on fitness. And a whole lot of time they have the treadmills, they have their home workout treadmills. But look at the number of deaths on a treadmill. They are called treadmill deaths. And every year there are people dying on a treadmill. What is the problem is something, you know, the doctor community must understand. We have not understood minutely, molecular wise, the functioning of the human body, and as a consequence, terrible disasters. How many athletes die? So let me therefore comprehensively put forth to you the very clear idea. Well, if you are treadmill, exercising and running, people always will try to financially benefit from that idea. And who tries to benefit? These Fitbit guys. You have these watches, and then that will tell you the number of steps taken. And the ideal number of steps was 15,000. They reduced it to 10,000 so that it is achievable. No, that's not all. Let us just stay away. Now, I will step by step take you through my outlook. Look at a car. You know, you have a nice, fancy, huge car, and you take it for a drive. Like I say, the human body has to go for an exercise or a jaunt. The amount of workout that you do for the car has precious little value on its survival. What really matters, you need to, you know, when you go for the car service, you need to put a dipstick into the oil slot and look whether the oil is too thick or not. If the oil is too thick, beyond a point, the car engine will seize, irrespective of how much of exercise it does. So the oil is similar to the human body blood. And if the blood is too thick, then there is a potential that it can clot and have an heart attack. How many people die of heart attacks nowadays? 40 years back, when I was in my third or fourth standard, I suppose 40, 50, beyond that years, when I was in my, where were these heart attacks? Where were these cardiac blocks? Where were cardiac centers? Is it because of inadequate surveillance? No, absolutely not. It is a reflection of the fact that our dietary pattern was such that it kept the blood nice and fluid. What is the dietary pattern? The dietary pattern is the original hand milled red rice that contains pyridoxine. Pyridoxine prevents platelets from clumping. Now, when platelets clump, they form a clot, block the heart, and people will die. Now, apart from that, now where is the today's hand milled red rice ganji water that we drink every day? It's almost non-existent. Those days when it was prevalent, did you see white hair? Hundreds of boys and girls, college students have premature graying of hair. Where was it those days? Even at an advanced age, people had jet black hair, reflecting the dietary pattern of B1, B6, B12, of which B6, the most important, and B12. So therefore, one doctor, what did that doctor do? She, a lady doctor, she said, let me in her county supplement everybody with a B complex. That's all that she did. In 3 years' time, when the entire county was asked to take, well, the American system is such that people are all under one general practice, family practitioner, and their word has absolute value. So therefore, when this lady said, take a B complex every day, 3 years, there were no heart attacks. But the tragedy of the story is she was terminated from the hospital which had recruited her because the hospital said she did not make good business sense, because from her entire area, no heart attacks happened, no patients came to the ICU, they did not have generate sufficient revenue, and she did not make business sense and she was terminated. So sad. That's how the medical thinking in a way it is. So therefore, based on that, I implore you to your own parents, take one B complex every day. That will absolutely prevent heart attacks. Today, we know that the thickening of the interior of blood vessels can also be reduced and reverted. And as a consequence, these cardiac blocks also will not happen. Earlier, where were these cardiac blocks? Now, that is one. Second, today we know that why is this treadmill deaths? If you look at, I have also studied electronics. In a way, you can extrapolate that knowledge to contemporary thought. Now, in electronics, we have what is called a 5 ampere wire and we have what is called a 15 ampere wire. Now, if I push in 15 ampere current through a 5 ampere wire, what will happen? That wire, which is thin, cannot sustain this huge current flow, and that will be a short circuit. What will happen as a consequence? There will be a short circuit and the whole thing will shut down. Imagine now, if I'm talking with a light on, suddenly a short circuit and shut down. That same thing happens in the heart. There is a wire in the heart that allows the electrical system impulses to flow through, and when an overwhelming electrical impulses passes through that wire simply shuts down. What maintains that wiring system? Please know very clearly, it is a thing called now today we know that it is an overwhelming thing called docosahexaenoic acid, or the corollaries of it, which is icosapentaenoic and arachidonic. These are what are called omega-3. Now, omega-3, when given 100%, will prevent a SCD, that stands for sudden cardiac death. If you are a non-vegetarian, omega-3 is available in fish oil. If you're a vegetarian, it's available in the vegetable oil contains omega-6. So for yourself, how many youngsters are now suddenly, we hear so many instances. Did we see that earlier? No, we did not. But today, now we come across suddenly youngsters, they just fall on the road and die. Patients come for a complete, what is called a cardiac checkup. They say everything is perfect. On the way home, they will have a sudden death, and what a tragedy it is. So therefore, today we know that it is not your running and fitness that matters. It is maintaining the internal wiring of the heart. And number two, the the vascularity, the vascular system, especially the blood, of which you need to have B complex. Now, the third thing is we come across so many cancers which are as a result of a genetic breakage. What prevents that? How many cancers? There are five. I am from Bangalore, and there are nearly 5 cancer centers. Well, if we invest in a 30 crore cancer center, the investment on return in financial term is called ROI. Return on investment is more than double that per year. Why are cancers so prevalent is because the genetic breakage that predisposes to cancers is prevented by folate. So many of these B complex tablets will also have folate. Folate stands for green leafy vegetables, which we hardly take any nowadays. You have a chicken biryani or a ghee rice or whatever. Where is the vegetables or the green leafy vegetables? Didn't we have that 40 years back? That was part of our dietary system. So to a large extent, your dietary pattern is what is contributing to your current state of health. Now, the fourth thing we realize is in some parts of the world, no cancers exist. Where are they? Number one, in the Honshu Island of Japan, the northernmost island, where the glacial ice melts rich in calcium, and there no cancers. The Hunza Valley in Pakistan, the Hopi Indians, whose water is highly flooded or filled with calcium. Calcium is an alkaline agent. A cancer is an alien being. It has got a brain and a life of its own. For it to survive, it requires an acidic medium. When we ask you to go to a hospital and then do a proper what is called a total health checkup, everything they do, but this 50 paisa test, which is to test the salivary pH, is not done. Such a tragic thing. All that you need to know is if you are you healthy, to check whether your system is alkaline. Today's dietary pattern, the fast food industry, all make sure that your diet is primarily acidic. A cancer cell, the moment it gets a chance to grow, looks at the milieu, and if it is acidic, it quickly grows. If it is highly alkaline, it dies. Now that is what happens in fishes. Well, fishes, you hardly ever come across a cancer. Why? Because the water is highly alkaline. Today, of course, because of the terrible toxins which are let into the sea, fishes have again started getting the cancers. It is so sad and tragic it's happening like this. So come back again. What is fitness? You need to maintain your body with the requisite ingredients to make it function effectively and efficiently. Again, I will once again look at what is it that you require. Number one, B6, B12, and the B1 group of B complexes, which originally we obtained from the hand-milled rice, adequate amount of water intake, making sure that your diet is primarily alkaline, making sure that the conductive system of the heart, the wiring, is effective enough in that it has the omega-3 components in its dietary pattern, and of course the outlook of the mind. I always say to an extent, your mind has a bearing. Today, of course, the world is becoming so bad. We are so jealous. We are so mean. We have such amount of ill will against others. Be of the, there's a book called I Am Okay, You Are Okay. You are okay, you're good. The other person is good as well. If you're mean to others, there is a Sanskrit thing called Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am that. I am part of the universal consciousness. I'm part of the universe. So if you hate somebody, you're hating yourself because you are part of the whole. And as a consequence, I've seen people who really hate people. Eventually, things go horribly wrong. They develop autoimmune disease because if you are hating others, you're hating yourself. And eventually, you start attacking yourself, autoimmune diseases. Or if you really hate others, it means you do not like your own entity, and eventually cancers develop. How many people who are so mean and vicious I've seen, cancers are developing? Do we see that in people who are of good disposition? I am okay, you're okay. I love me, I love you too. So these sort of individuals, have a normal, healthy life. And beyond that, of course, there are a whole lot of other things that govern health. The prime ingredient that maintains it is beyond a point. What really matters in fitness, we need to be really fit, and in that regard there is an epidemic of obesity. What does that mean? That means the pattern of living is such that why are slim people, these are breaking news in the world of medicine. Why are slim people slim? Did you ever wonder? Well, they don't exercise much. They eat like anything. And on top of that, whatever they do, well, they say it's my constitution. No, that's not so. It is not. Constitution means there should be some measurable ingredient. For example, they might be having a thyroid disease or a diabetic this thing. No, nothing is there. They're absolutely normal. Science did not know so far. It is only recently that this idea has started emerging. And the moment an idea emerges, we should be waiting to quickly optimize, utilize, implement, and gain the benefit. It is only recently this idea has started, in which it is now realized slim people are slim because they are colonized by a specific bacteria. If you put on the internet slimming bacteria, you will find that specific one class of bacteria makes you slim. Well, I was grotesquely obese and I was nearly about 120, 30 kilos. I tried going to a gym, dieting, walking, jogging, nothing, all failures. But who's my greatest teacher? My failures. Failures taught me that all this does not work. The only thing that tangible benefits are procured is by this one specific strain of bacteria, which was manufactured from a company in Norway, Denmark, and through Glaxo India, we got it sourced into India and then into Mangalore, and which I myself took it. Many people ask me, aren't you worried taking a live bacteria? Well, my life was so miserable, so when you're so obese, I couldn't care less. And that's what I did for nearly 5.5 months' time. I will share my photos. Without any exercise and diet, 35 kilos simply disappeared. And after that, I realized I have stumbled onto something which is incredible. And as a consequence, therefore, I started my slimming center in Bangalore, which I come once a month. And it is unbelievable the number of people who gravitate to my place because they now realize without dieting, without exercise, nothing. All that they have to do is just this one vitamin-like pill, and the entire fat simply melts off. So the essence of knowledge is knowing it to apply it. Now, why don't you see obese animals in the jungle live in the jungle, live by nature's rules? Do you find animals who are obese? You only find that in domesticated dogs and cats, perhaps. But in the jungle, when your dietary pattern is such, when you eat from raw nature, the colonization of the bacteria is such that this bacteria flora itself will undergo a change and you will be colonized by what are called slimming bacteria. All that's all that you need to do. Either change your dietary pattern or eat the bacteria itself, and the entire fat will simply melt and disappear. Now, isn't that what nature wants? Nature wants you to be slim and trim. That is the key to fitness. And if you're slim and trim, a whole lot of health problems associated with it. For example, the obesity related hypertension or blood sugar or backaches or knee pain, arthritis, a whole lot of things will disappear when you're slim and trim. So we have stumbled onto this incredible, miraculous formula. And the moment you do that, the whole thing does. Now, coming to fitness, we say, if you're fit, if to an extent, I must emphasize on your blood sugar. Blood sugar, every other person in India is a diabetic and it's spreading across the world. Well, once you shed off that excess fat, you revert back to near normalcy. But now what I do is, if you look at, we have a nice park here, people are jogging like anything and running around. All that you need to do to reduce your blood sugar, please realize, that's all I ask my patients to do, is just sit in sunlight. Sit in sunlight for about 10 minutes, between 7 to 10. The amazing, I have documented evidence that 10 minutes of just sitting in sunlight, nearly 100 milligrams of per deciliter of sugar will come down. Did you realize that? What is it that we do? The moment we come across a sugar patient, we give some drugs, and then beyond a point, the drugs will not work, and then we say, oh my God, the patient is not responding. Finally, we start the patient on insulin. That is a death sentence. For life, you have to poke yourself, painful. No, all that is not necessary. Just sit in sunlight for 10 minutes and your blood sugar will rapidly start coming down. Apart from that, we developed a dietary pattern. By about the fifth day, your blood sugar is normal. By about a week's time, I have several documented evidence. I put it on YouTube. I will share the link with you. They're all normal. Is there a cure for diabetes that we project or talk about in the world? It's not there. Well, diabetes is a wrong thing in medicine. It is all self-induced. In the jungle, you ask a lion or a tiger or an elephant or a buffalo, please eat masala dosa, idli, chutney, and ghee roast. They will laugh at you because they know how pathetic the human. All that started when we start becoming civilized. Now that is about blood sugar. If that is so, Let us talk about blood pressure. Well, fitness means having a normal blood pressure range. Beyond a point, the vascular system cannot sustain this blood pressure, and beyond a point, vessels in the brain will burst. What happens when it bursts? Blood is toxic to the brain. It will destroy the brain. As a consequence of thereof, the brain is damaged. What will happen? One side of the body will get paralyzed, and once it is paralyzed, it's a lifetime death sentence. For life they will be bedridden. But one question I want to ask you is, you have seen National Geographic, you have seen Animal Planet, you have seen Discovery, and you've gone to the zoo and you've seen jungles. Ever in the world, I'm asking you, have you ever seen an animal with a stroke? No, you have not. You'll not have seen a single animal with a stroke. How high the BP rises in a tiger in its ferocious attack when it's attacking an animal, how high the blood pressure goes. But does it have a stroke and suddenly does it get paralyzed? And no, nothing happens. Why? Because glucosidase enzyme that is crucial for the manufacture of ascorbate is highly active in all animals except humans. We cannot synthesize ascorbate, and that is vitamin C, which means you need to have a little amount of vitamin C every day. Now, isn't that what we had years and years back? After lunch or dinner, we had some high fiber fruits that contained ascorbate. Where is the fruit in the dietary pattern today? So as a consequence, if you're not taking vitamin C supplements, beyond a point, the blood pressure in the brain, it will burst. And how many people you come across with a stroke and paralysis? It is so sad. Whereas those who are supplemented, certainly 100%, this high blood pressure stroke simply will not happen. Now, as far as blood pressure is concerned, many studies, the Framingham Heart Study, the multiple risk factor intervention trial, all of them showed that who are the ones who tend to develop high blood pressure if you're not drinking a glass of milk a day. Of course, there are counter arguments saying humans are the only ones that consume the milk of another animal. No, it's okay. But you require calcium every day, which was there in the earlier dietary pattern. Now, if you're taking calcium, you need to take in vitamin D. That means about 10 minutes of sunlight again is required for calcium to be absorbed. And the third thing that you require is a little amount of vitamin C or lime. Well, we had been on a trip to China, whatever people might say, and early morning, 7 o'clock, all parents would bring their children. They're all inside. 7 to 9 o'clock, they are having good academic teaching program. At 9 o'clock, the entire school children, along with the faculty, they came out in the open ground, and for about half an hour's time, they had a good drill, giving them the requisite sunlight exposure. Where is that concept in India? It is so sad that India, we are in such a miserable and pathetic situation. Without no idea, 70 years after independence, we have no idea what governs a child health. What does a child require? Good calcium, good ascorbate, and good sunlight. Where is this concept of exposing to sunlight? No, absolutely it's not there. Apart from that, as students, why you call students? Because you are studere means to strive after knowledge. If you want to build muscles, you need to have amino acids. If you want to build bones, you need to have calcium. But if you got to be razor sharp in academics, what is the brain made of? Fat. Which means what is required for the brain to be highly efficient and functioning, you require a little amount of what the brain requires, and that is ghee. Ghee keeps you razor sharp. There are a class of individuals in India who take ghee morning, afternoon, evening, night. Now, for those who do, our parents who insist that their children take, you will find them to be razor sharp in memory. I run a memory center in which my prime ingredient is I ask students or parents to give ghee to children, because beyond about a month later, they say, doctor, they never even would touch the books. But when the brain is activated, you see a movie called Short Circuit, one like a robot. Once the brain is activated, it craves for knowledge, and they are not even letting the book down, doctor. The other thing that mothers come and tell me is, doctor, my children they study so much, they are not able to recall. Because I run a memory center, there's only one thing I ask them. Does your child drink tea? And invariably the answer is yes. Please realize very clearly, tea blocks iron. The basic backbone of intellectual recall academics is iron. The short-term to long-term memory molecular conversion happens in one part of the brain called the hippocampus, and there the highest content of iron and zinc. Where if iron is absent, where you drink tea every day or 2 or 3 glasses of tea every day, you study so much, towards the exam time, you find that you are not able to recall anything. Why? Because the short to long term memory molecular conversion is not happening. You see, so when my children were studying, I absolutely forbade no tea in my house, as well as I insisted my wife give them a little amount of ghee every day. And not that, I mean, like I was really die-hard studious and academic, because for me, marks was my only way of going forward. But then my children were average in there, but then still, some time back, my wife and myself were called to their college, because they said, of course, they are now out of the country, but they said, we are honoring your children for distinction marks. So you see, if the brain is highly efficient and active, like the hardware of a computer system, then you will be extraordinarily good in academics. On top of that, of course, you need to refine your learning skills. That is a program I conduct, and I have told that I will come to your college and conduct this program called Learning to Learn. Learning is an art. So said Alvin Toffler. If you have learned how to learn, all academic doors in the world will open. Because if you are highly efficient, like an efficient computer software, you just put in 1 hour of work and you're really, really good in academics. So that's how the thing is. Unfortunately, hundreds of colleges and millions of students, but do we have any college which is teaching the art of learning, how to read, how to recall, how to remember, how to do well in exams? Unfortunately, it's not there. There are 35,000 students of professional colleges in Mangalore. Do we teach them the fundamentals of professionalism? We don't teach. And today what we find, 95% of the students coming out of a professional college are unprofessional and are unemployable. So we have launched this program on professionalism, which we can conduct in your college as well, so that by the time you come out into the professional field, you're fighting fit. So that's how it is. There's so many things to learn on professionalism, communication skills, learning, the art of learning, and fundamentals of health. Now, apart from that, you need to be razor sharp. Fitness not only means of the body, fitness of the mind itself. When you go to America, you will find hundreds of neurological diseases. What is the problem? Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's, or Alzheimer's. Hundreds of neurological diseases. Do you find that in India? You don't. So when something is wrong or something is absent, you need to really wonder what is the thing in India that helps people. And that is something you and I take almost every day. And that is again ghee. Because we take ghee, it protects the neurological system. For example, you come across breast cancers in Japan. It is so common nowadays, but breast cancers in Japan is almost absent. Do you know why? Because the Japanese have a system of, they take soya beans. After breast cancer surgery and treatment, we ask patients here to take soya beans or soya meal extract in order to prevent a recurrence. It is not part of the Indian staple diet, but soya beans is a part of the staple diet of the Japanese, which is why breast cancer, if you look, breast cancer absent in Japan. So therefore, there are many things we need to realize. So many cases of uterine cancers, but then people who consume broccoli, it kills the virus that causes uterine cancer. So then now, concerning now today, we are in a highly vulnerable zone. Coronavirus is spreading like anything. There is only one tiny gateway. Even people have got the vaccine, they are getting affected. There is a gateway through which the virus enters. Now we know that that gate can be completely closed by one ingredient. What is that? Amino acids, especially lysine. I ask patients to take one amino acid, which are also I do, every day. If you do that, 100% you are protected. Although a corona patient may walk next to you or sneeze, nothing will happen. Because I know now they're talking about the third booster dose. Do you know Pfizer fellows realized that if you were to give a booster dose to people, then their profit is $24 billion. So it's all a big business money as well. Primarily, who gets corona? If you're immunologically robust and strong, then you're to a large extent protected. Or what is corona? It's like an ordinary upper respiratory. Please take care to supplement amino acids as well as the other parts of the immune system, which is iron and zinc. And if you were to do that to a large extent, you will be protected. And beyond a point to protect yourself, this is a mask that I designed. It's a 5-layer cotton mask with an antivirus filter. And maybe shortly I will make it available in Bangalore as well, in which if you do, if there is an antivirus filter, I'm not aware of a single mask with got an antivirus filter within. to a large extent you are protected. So therefore, these are the basic requirements to maintain your health. Beyond that, I've seen terrible things in my teachers. Fitness means also having the essential senses. And I've seen people become deaf. Beyond 40, 50 people are becoming deaf. What is it that protects hearing now? Please know very clearly it is an ingredient called resveratrol. Where is it present? In black grapes. So if you were to be taking 2 or 3 black grapes or black grape derived wine, 100% your hearing will be protected. If you're taking the yellow of egg, which actually reduces cholesterol, unlike what we told earlier, your vision is retained because it prevents the age-induced macular degeneration. So few fundamental things, if you were to look at in maintaining health, you will be fit. Fitness does not mean running 100 meters every day or jog. I've seen in the morning, so many people will be huffing and puffing and exhausting by jogging or cycling and all that. No, 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 that's not the way, because you need to maintain health just like a car. If your car battery is acidic, the terminals will corrode and the terminals will become rusted. If it is alkaline, nothing will happen. If the engine oil is thin and well maintained, the car engine will function efficiently. If the grease in the differential is maintained, the car will efficiently mesh gears. If your petrol is nice and refined, then the car will have long number of years. So too the human body. Maintain what the body requires. Look after what look after it, because it's a fantastic piece of machinery God has gifted to you, and give it what is required for the machine to heal itself. Heal thyself. That is a great aphorism in medicine. We have all that is required to heal ourselves. Instead of now what is the scenario? You become sick, go to a doctor, all sorts of drugs, which temporarily subside. That's not the way. The human body has fantastic regenerative as well as the ability to maintain health by a fantastic immune system. All that the government should have said is maintain your hemoglobin as 15 gram per deciliter. Do we do that? No, we don't. If you maintain your blood hemoglobin at 15 gram per deciliter, 90% of human illnesses will disappear. So that's how it is. We hardly ever look into the fundamentals of health. We do a whole lot of things that sort of make people sick. We don't even look at the slimming bacteria. That's all that you need to take, and you will become slim and trim. You need to take a little bit of ghee that makes your brain razor sharp. Be complex to your own parents, that will maintain the blood in a fluid system. What is it that can save 99% of the people who get a heart attack? 99% of deaths can be prevented. One aspirin a day. It is now decreed that beyond 45, everybody must carry an aspirin tablet, because 100% it will save lives. Well, I have sort of occupied quite an amount of time, and the last, of course, is vision. You need to have this vision, because once you're blind, you're at totally at the mercy of society. How can you maintain vision? Is by tocopherol or vitamin E. Whatever, there are many available sources that tell you vitamin E is available from, especially almonds. Any vitamin E, that's what I gave to my parents, and even at 82, my father had very clear vision. Cataract simply will not happen. So maintain what is required to take vitamin E, and you will have good vision, resveratrol for good hearing, calcium requirements to maintain your bones, B complex to maintain your vascular system, ghee to maintain your neurological pathways. To a large extent, you will be blessed, protected, and healthy. Believe me, however tons of money that we make, health is the greatest wealth a person can have. So therefore, take care and be healthy and do good to society. Thank you very much. I hope it's been a rewarding session. Now the session is open for comments and questions. And in the meanwhile, of course, there are tons of patients waiting for me. I will address them simultaneously as well. So the session is open for any questions. Thank you. It's an open house, and any questions I am willing to address. Yes, please.
We thank you, sir, for helping us understand the value of nutrition and giving us an insight on the ways we have to lead a healthy and happy life. I inform the volunteers that the chat box is now open for questions. Feel free to leave your questions in the chat box, else You can kindly raise your hand virtually and I'll call out your register number and you can unmute your microphone if you have any questions that will be answered by our guest. I request the participants to pose the questions and doubts regarding the talk while maintaining the discipline. Sir, there are some questions. Shall I read it out? Sir, one of the questions which I got is, do you prefer medical supplements over vegetables available in the market today?
No, I 100% will suggest supplements because the purity with which these are available, it is very difficult to procure from a diet. So therefore, when supplements are available in its purest form and has a very high utility, it is rather better that you take supplements than sort of get that from the diet. I hope that's very clear, that it is rather better that you take supplements than sort of rely on the dietary intake.
Yes, sir, it's very helpful. Another question which is written in the chat box is, if someone is vegetarian, what should the diet plan include such that it includes all the vitamin and amino acids?
Well, what is the richest source of amino acids is sprouted grains. You know, all the grains sprouted, it is now available as a ready-made preparation, and that is called manna. And it's come in a variety of flavors. That is really God's blessing because it is so pure and so nice. Manna health mix is available. All that you need to do is take 2 teaspoons, mix it in a glass of milk and have it. All the amino acids are available. Now, apart from that, I said oils, which is the best oil is olive oil. Do your cooking in olive oil. Take olive oil about a teaspoon a day. You will be healthy, which is the secret of the Mediterranean people.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, I want to ask a question. So, how do we
Yeah.
maintain our kidney? The people who have diabetes.
Well, diabetes, you know, earlier as students we studied a whole lot of things, but I am very clear diabetes is a self-induced disease by our dietary pattern nowadays. So, so what is my very clear pattern? To a large extent, I absolutely avoid carbohydrates. In the jungle, that's what I said again. In the jungle, do we ever come across idli, dosha, biryani, kubos, nepatri? No, we don't. What do we have in the jungle? Dig, pluck, hunt, gather. Dig, pluck, hunt, gather. Dig to get the tubers, hunt for the non-vegetarian, pluck for the fruits, and gather the berries. So that's all that you need to take. And if you do that, that's a very clear dietary pattern that I have. And by the 4th day, surprisingly, patients become absolutely euglycemic, no diabetes, no sugar, no nothing. What a miracle it is.
Thank you, sir, for answering that question. There is another question in the chat box. It says, does supplements help to gain required nutrients and vitamins? And is it okay to take any kind of supplements?
I have a guest here who was overhearing my speech, and there's something that she wants to share with you. Okay, I'll speak.
It's very nice speech, Doctor. Doctor.
Malayali. Well, supplement wise, you need to be a little careful because please realize there is something called ADEK. vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. They are not water soluble, they are fat soluble. And if you continue to take them beyond a point, it will accumulate in the blood and cause side effects. So you've got to be very careful. Otherwise, B complex is something and calcium is something that you need to take every day. And as long as you do that, you will 100% be normal. I cannot write it because, well, the system currently forbids doctors to advertise on a public platform. If somebody comes to my clinic, I will write and give. So it is rather better you take supplements, 100% you will be normal. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. There's another question. How do we know if we are taking too many vitamins or any of nutrients?
No, you will not know. It is only your doctor who is treating you who will know, and he has to be very guarded in the way he supplements it. When patients come to me, I give supplements properly in a manner that I do not cause an overdose. So you can't be doing it on your own. It has to be under a doctor's guidance that you will have to take these vitamins, amino acids, and B complex range. You can't be doing it on your own. It has to be under a doctor's preview. It is rather better, however, that you do it because in today's diet you cannot get everything from your dietary source.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. Sir, what are the supplements to make our brain strong and healthy?
Come again, please. Can you repeat that?
So someone asked, what are the supplements that helps to keep our brain strong and healthy?
The supplements, let me make it very clear. What does the brain require to be razor sharp? Number one, iron. Number two, zinc at the rate of 61 milligrams a day. And number three is omega-3 plus ghee. If you look at, I should not name names, but if you look at, the Brahmin community who has a habit, I think, of taking ghee every day, or other subgroups of people, they are razor sharp in their intellect. Or if you look at people who take fish every day, Malayalis and Bengalis, have you ever come across, Bengalis are really razor sharp. Who are the other people who do that? The Jews, they have a pattern of dietary in which they supplement ghee in a form of ghee in their diet. Aren't the Jews the highest number of Nobel laureates? They are. And a speech.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. How to prevent obesity? Like, what are the supplements which we should take to prevent obesity?
I wish I had the answer to this question during my formative years because I was very much obese. So much I tried, nothing happened. Nothing you can do. The only thing is like I stumbled onto this one specific bacteria. If you take that bacteria pill, entire fat will melt and disappear. These are two major discoveries. The other discovery was I was a little sort of, had an inferiority complex because I was dark. And I stumbled onto a way, a few girls came and asked me, look at Kajol, look at Priyanka, look at Rekha. They were all dusky girls, how fair they have become. And I stumbled onto this incredible thing that they are doing, but they will not share with you, in which I applied it onto myself and I became very fair. So that's blocking a particular enzyme to sort of block melanin pigmentation, and now I can make anybody very fair. So similarly for obesity, there is only this one specific bacteria. Even now I take that once a week. It keeps me slim and trim. That's the only way. I have no other way, because when you take this bacteria, it will absolutely block fat absorption and absorb only the nutrients that your body requires, and it will keep you slim. If you're taking this thing, then you, irrespective of what you eat, you will be slim and trim. That's how some people are, isn't it?
Thank you, sir. There's another question. Is it unhealthy to drink coffee every day?
Not at all. Why? Because coffee prevents three things. Number one, it prevents maturity onset diabetes. It prevents the formation of gallstones. And on top of that, if you are sort of drowsy and all that, it keeps you alert. The newer finding is you don't really need to drink coffee. You can just imagine the coffee smell, and drivers who are falling asleep, you don't have to sort of take a break and drink coffee. You can even just imagine its smell. It activates some part of the brain, and you become instantly alert. So coffee has these fantastic benefits which tea does not have. Yes, sir?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, Malayali ano?
मलयाली അറിയാ തുടു പറപ്പുണ്ട് കൊങ്കണി അസ്വേ ജവൻ ജൽവേ തുक नाम कसले और तमिल पे चल के चाहिए
तमिल अल्ल मलयालम
हाँ പറ
സാർ സാർ ഈ എന്റെ കുറച്ച് ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് കൊളസ്ട്രോൾ ഉണ്ട് സാർ അപ്പൊ അതിന് എന്താ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്
അതെ സി പണ്ട് നമ്മള് കൊളസ്ട്രോൾ എന്ന് പഠിച്ച ആൾക്കാരെ പേടിപ്പിക്കും ടുഡേ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ വിവരപ്രകാരം കൊളസ്ട്രോൾ ഹാസ് നോ മീനിങ് അറ്റ് ഓൾ നമ്മൾ ആകെ നോക്കേണ്ടത് ഓൺലി പ്ലീസ് ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ബ്ലഡ് ലെവൽ ഓഫ് LDL ലോ ഡെൻസിറ്റി ലൈപ്പോപ്രോട്ടീൻ ആ LDL 100-നെക്കാളും കൂടുതലാണെങ്കിൽ എന്തിനായാലും ഹാർട്ട് അറ്റാക്ക് വന്നിട്ട് ചത്തോ സോ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ യുവർ LDL ബിലോ 100% യു വിൽ ബി സേഫ് അതെങ്ങനെ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുക ധാരാളം മത്തി അയക്കൂറ മീൻ എല്ലാം കഴിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ പിന്നെ അത് LDL നോർമലായിട്ട് പോകും കൊളസ്ട്രോൾ അല്ല നമ്മൾ നോക്കണ്ടേ LDL
ഇത് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ മീൻ മാത്രമേ കഴിക്കാൻ പറ്റൂ വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും
മീൻ മാത്രം അതിനെ കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമേ ഈ LDL കുറക്കാൻ പറ്റൂ
സാർ എന്തോ മീനാ സാർ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ
അയക്കൂറ ആഗോലി ഇതൊക്കെ കഴിക്കാം പക്ഷെ കല്ലുമ്മക്കായ് ഞണ്ട് ചെമ്മീന് കല്ലുമ്മക്കായ് ഞണ്ട് ചെമ്മീന് കഴിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരാഴ്ച ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അറ്റാക്ക് വന്നിട്ട് മരിച്ചു
സാർ അങ്ങനെ പറയില്ല സാർ
അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞേ പറ്റുക എത്ര കൂട്ടം എന്റെ നെയ്ബർ മകൻ വന്നിട്ട് ഒരു ഇത് കൊട്ട നിറയെ ചെമ്മീൻ വാങ്ങിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു ഒരാഴ്ച ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അയാൾ ICUലായി ഭാഗ്യത്തിന് രക്ഷപ്പെട്ടു കല്ലുമ്മക്കായ് ഞണ്ട് ചെമ്മീന് തൊടാൻ പാടില്ല
ഓക്കെ സാർ സാർ ഈ കോഡ് ലിവർ ഓയിൽ കഴിച്ച
താനെന്താ പഠിക്കുന്നത്
സാർ ഞാൻ BCA സെന്റ് ജോസഫ് കോളേജിൽ തന്നെ
അതെ ഞാനൊരു ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കട്ടെ You are studying for BCA. What is the meaning of B?
So bachelors.
താൻ കല്യാണം കഴിച്ചോ ഇല്ലല്ലോ
അയ്യോ ഇല്ല sir.
Yeah, so why are you all those who are studying, why are you called bachelors? Even though you are married and
because
still
we haven't married.
Yeah, even though you become married, still the course is called Bachelor of Computer Application. Why is it called Bachelor? ಇದು ವಾರಕ್ಕೆರಡು ವಾರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋವಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕು ಚಾ ಮುಟ್ಟಬಾರ್ದು ಬಸ್ if you know you say you know, if you don't know you say I don't know.
Sir, don't know sir.
Can I tell you?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Now I live in a flat comprising of 52 flats, of which 48 are occupied by families. The remaining 4 are bachelors. When there is a cricket match, when there is a tennis, when there is something happiness, all the bachelor boys make a lot of noise and are so happy and boisterous. After finishing computer all the houses where there's a female and the guys have got locked. Whenever there's something happy, the guys are all silent. They become gentle, and that's why they are called gentlemen. Well, before marriage, the guys are so happy, they become boisterous. And therefore, after studying computer science, you make like bachelors, you make a lot of noise about computer science, which is why you're called bachelors of computer science. When you study Bachelor of English, BA Arts, you talk to others about a lot of arts and English and whatever. Therefore, when you behave like an unmarried guy, you're called a bachelor. That is how the original bachelor word came into being. Say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh my God. I hope you overheard what I said.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. That was very informative. With this,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. That was very informative. I think we shall conclude.
Sir, one more question.
Yes.
അതെ സർ ഈ കോഫി ഒക്കെ കുടിക്കുമ്പോ ഈ ഇന്റസ്റ്റൈൻ ഒക്കെ ചുരുങ്ങൂന്ന് അറിയില്ലേ ലൈക്ക് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഷ്രിങ്ക്
Aura tala.
ഓക്കെ ശരി താങ്ക് യു
സാറേ
Yes.
സാർ ഈ കോഡ് ലിവർ ഓയിൽ കഴിക്കുന്നത് നമുക്ക് കുറയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ കൊളസ്ട്രോൾ ഒക്കെ? കോഡ് ലിവർ ഓയിൽ
No, no,
നല്ലതാണ്
no.
ഈ ടാബ്ലറ്റ്സ്.
If you have high cholesterol, which is part of in some families, if it is high, the only way to bring it down is by not cod liver oil but fish oil. What is the name of the fish oil? It is called omega-3. And if you were to take that one omega-3 every day and check your blood cholesterol 1 month later, it will be below normal. Cod liver oil contains vitamin D, and after 1 month's time, the vitamin D accumulates in the blood and causes vitamin D toxicity, which is good. Very good. So, Danya. Is that clear, please?
ഓക്കെ സാർ. ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചത് കാരണം ഇവരൊക്കെ മരുന്ന് കഴിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് സാർ കൊളസ്ട്രോളിന്. അപ്പൊ അതിനു വേണ്ടിയാ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചത്. നാച്ചുറൽ
ഞാൻ ഒരു
ആയിട്ട്
ഉത്തരം പറയാം. 5 കൊല്ലം കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ മരുന്ന് കഴിച്ച ശേഷം പിന്നെ മസിൽ ടോക്സിറ്റി വരുന്നുണ്ട്. മസിലിന് മേലെ വലിയൊരു ബോൾ പോലെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് കോൾഡ് rhabdomyolysis. That is the toxicity or side effect of cholesterol drugs. 100% you should not touch it.
ഓക്കെ സാർ. ഓക്കെ സാർ.
I forget your name. Yeah. Nice. ഇനി എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദ്യം ഉണ്ടോ?
അയ്യോ ഇല്ല സാർ.
Yeah, ഞാൻ അങ്ങോട്ട് വിളിക്കുക. I will come there and give a talk to your entire college, I suppose.
ശരി സാർ, വരണം സാർ.
Yeah.
Due to time constraint, I think we should conclude the Q&A session for now.
Thank you.
We express our immense gratitude to Dr. Devan for being here with us this evening. I'm positive that everyone here has had some takeaways and key points from you. Once again, thank you for this wonderful session. Now, I would like to call upon Shanmugi to propose the vote of thanks.
Oh. Not corona, no? Oh. Yeah. This is my mask. Please have a mask. It's available in the shop. It's a 5-layer mask. It's antivirus filter. I manufactured this. I mean, I designed it and gave it also. Because you must have some sense in the way we just somebody makes a mask and we wear it. No, it has to be a proper 5-layer thick cotton cloth mask. Pioneer Medical. Pioneer next to Bharat Mall. All my person go there, so I made it available there. And plus earlier it was a loop, but then people said sometimes the loop becomes loose. So I made a tying lanyard. But correctly, whoever who's now using, they have not got corona. I 100% will guarantee. Because there's no gap at all. No. Only that's why I used to test. But today we know on nothing. It is just the nose. Usually designing it. And nose doctor, ENT. What is happening to ENT doctors? They're all dying. 1,500 are dead.
It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks and acknowledge the contributions made by every individual in today's webinar. On behalf of I would like to thank the event and making it a successful one. I'd also like to thank our guest speaker, Professor Dr. Devan, for gracing this event by sparing us valuable time and creating awareness among the volunteers about the importance of fitness and nutrition. We express our sincere gratitude to our Principal Reverend Father Dr. Victor Lobo S.J., our Program Officer Professor Selvan Paul J., and the teacher in charge for providing us a platform to conduct this webinar. I would like to thank all the volunteers for making this event a grand success by being such attentive listeners. I appreciate all of you for your active participation. I believe everyone present here has received something insightful to take back and execute in our daily lives for our own well-being. I conclude by once again thanking everyone and wishing you all a healthy day ahead. Thank you.
My special thanks to Alfonso, who was instrumental in getting this all through and bringing me to this forum and giving me this introduction. I am so much deeply indebted to her and to the college for giving me this platform. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Do well.
Thank you, Shanmugi. Tomorrow is the 19th October 2021. We have the quiz competition Brain It. It is conducted as a live competition and is scheduled from 5 to 6 p.m. Hope we have the maximum participation in the quiz competition too. The volunteers can now leave the meeting.